video display monitor. And that was one of 4 that the company bought. And I asked her whether she had had any of the sound problems, Ron, like you had with yours, that had to wait for a software update to get fixed. And she said none of them did, but they only got these about 4 or 5 days ago. I'm thinking that they were from a newer manufacturing batch and that they had that software problem.
Well, they've had updates since, and it's fixed. That's never come back.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay.
Well,
It
there's all
fixed it.
4 for 4 of theirs were fine. So it's a different manufacturing batch. And I'm not sure if I know exactly why, but that's what she told me.
Well, have they decided, I mean, my question is, I guess, where are they making those at? I mean, I see where Apple is pulling some of the iPhone and iPad manufacturing out of China and putting it in Vietnam and in India. That's, I guess, I always look for changes in quality, et cetera, because I know Foxconn is, of course, it's kind of like a slave driver there when you read the stories of these Apple workers that work in China. So, but I'm just wondering if has anybody else heard anything about that transferring of production?
I've read
heard
that it's going
anything
to
beyond
happen,
phones.
but I don't think it's happened yet. They say a lot of it'll transfer to India.
Mhm.
Okay, guys, we need to start the meeting. So I see John's here. He's our president. Steve's our first VP. He's here. Glenn's our second VP. Alan's our treasurer, and I'm the secretary and do the website. So all the officers are here tonight. Thanks for the rest of you coming. Hopefully other people will show up yet tonight. Let's see. Upcoming meetings. November, we talked about possible new Apple products since Apple hasn't announced anything specific at this point. So hopefully by our November meeting, we will know a lot of more specifics on that.
Ron, I
Also-
just heard a rumor today that could be happening in the last week of October.
Yeah, I've heard that, but I've heard lots of other things too. So you never know. And then we talked about weather apps. So let's see what else. The membership rewards program will continue. I'm writing down names as people pop on the screen tonight. That drawing will be at the December meeting, and we'll have again 4 $100 Apple gift cards to give away. Special note, as we mentioned last meeting, we're doing away with our PO box because the cost keeps rising. I think it's up to 100 and the new one will be like 180 or something dollars a year, which is ridiculous. I remember at a time it used to only be about 60 or 70 bucks. So anyway, we are dropping that, and you'll notice that the mail is going to come to my home address. It'll say GAMUG, care of R. Mueller. Let's see what else. Member reviews is what we'll start with. Has anybody bought something new or used a new piece of software they'd like to mention to the group?
Well, for what it's worth, I bought a 256 gig flash drive,
What brand is it?
PNY.
Working well?
Well, I haven't gotten it yet. It's supposed to
Oh,
come
you
in
just bought it. Okay. So this is a pre-review. Okay.
Yeah, but I
I
did
would like to
both.
make a comment about Pony PNY. I had bought a 256 gigabyte PNY flash drive a few years back, and then it had failed and completely stopped working, and then they wouldn't honor their warranty. I think it was
Oh, lovely.
like where I bought it from.
How long ago was that, Terry?
A few years back. Where did you
2
buy
years.
it from? I bought it from somebody on from an eBay seller as a new product.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Robert will have better luck since it's 2 years ago.
Well, I'm
Happy
well,
New Year.
usually Amazon usually ships pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I guess you never know. You have to wait and see, Robert. Tell us
Yeah.
next
No,
month
I'm
when
not
you
sure
get it.
where I got it from.
One thing I did buy a 10-foot cable.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Glenn raised his hand. Glenn, you have something new?
Well, I do, but I was just gonna say, if anybody, I'll share this real quick with you guys. It's just when Robert brought this up and you guys all brought this up. I bought a flash drive, gosh, I don't know, year or two ago now. And I'm just gonna share real quick here. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Yeah, Samsung.
Yeah, this has been a fantastic flash drive for me, and it came very highly rated. It looks like it's out of stock now, but keep an eye on it. And one of the things that I love about this, it's a 256 gig. But one of the things I love about it is one side of it, and let's see if I can find the picture here. Okay, there we go.
Oh,
So, one of the things about the MacBook Pros now is, you don't have the traditional flash drive or a traditional USB port, I mean. So it's
yeah,
kind of a
USB
pain, and
port.
I've got an adapter that I plug in, and then, I always had to do this. So this was a great workaround that, I can just plug it right in, and then I can take it and plug it into, other devices as well. So, I've really liked this drive, and I know you can see it's out of stock right now, but like I said, it came highly rated. It's a Samsung Duo Plus. So if you're in the market for something, you might want to, check this out somewhere else, maybe. I don't exactly remember how much I paid for it now. I guess I can look and see. Hold on, it's easier for me to do this once I stop sharing. I paid at the time, I paid $40, $40.99, $41. So that was fairly reasonable price for it too. So anyway,
Mine cost me about $20.18.
yeah, this one was just so highly rated, and I love both on either
Yeah.
side, the two different jacks. It's
Yeah.
just very, very handy. So anyway, that wasn't what I was going to review, but since you guys mentioned, I thought I would share that. But the review I wanted to take a few minutes and do with you guys is I bought the new AirPod Pro 2s, and I have been very impressed by them. And so they have been pretty much everything that I'd hoped they would be. I've had them now for, gosh, I'm trying to think, like maybe 3 weeks, maybe. And I, by the way, except for when I got them, I've yet to charge the case back up. And I probably used them maybe 7 or 8 times, and my case is still at 50%. So definitely getting better battery life. However, since they're brand new, like everything, that's always great when it's brand new. We'll see, 6 months or a year down the road how that battery life is going. One of the first things, and I'll show you the case here. I did get a personalized. I just put my initials on there. Some people put like emojis and things, but my wife and I both have AirPod Pros, and we're constantly like, before picking up each other's cases and like opening it to see them with my phone. Is this mine or is this yours? And it was driving us crazy. I thought about buying one of those, little cases to put them in that was colored, but so anyway, when they personalized for free, so I just put my initials on it, and it does look slightly different because now you have a little thing here. You can put a lanyard in if you want to. So that is different. And you can also see there's more speaker holes on the bottom of it, so that if you're looking for it, you're doing a little Find My, or you plug it in, it's definitely a louder sound from the case, because previously the only sound you got was from the headphones themselves. As far as the headphones go, I mean, they look the same as, it's hard to see because I'm like handling it, but they look the same, just the same, as the old ones. So there's no, or very minimal, you really can't tell any difference externally. But I will say there are some things about it that I was really impressed with. First of all, one of the big things that I wanted for this was, it was advertised to have much better, now I'm blanking on the phrase. What do you call it? Sound, noise
isolation.
Thank you. And it does, for sure. And but it's interesting. So when you, and I don't know, how many of you have the AirPod Pros, the first generation? Anybody have? Okay, a few of you. With these, like the other ones, I put it in, but it's almost like you put it in and everything sounds normal for a second, and it's like, and it like kind of almost seals in there after a second, and everything kind of fades away, and it's a little interesting, and definitely cut down. Like one of the things like I wanted, like when I'm doing yard work and things like that, and it definitely cut down like on the noise to say my lawnmower or like a leaf blower or something. But the other interesting thing that I noticed with it is that it gets rid of some ambient noise, but allows you at the same time to hear things that maybe might be important. So I'll give you an example. I was sitting in Starbucks, I don't know, a week or so ago, and I was working, and when I put them in, all of a sudden I could not hear the HVAC anymore that I was hearing. I could not hear the coffee machines that they were running, but just barely. I could still hear the overhead music, just a little. I mean, if I put my own stuff on, I couldn't hear it, but I could hear that. And then there was a woman walk by me, 10 feet from me, and I could hear her. She had heels on. I could hear the heels click on the hard floor. And so it was interesting how it drowns out some ambient noise, but I think it purposely lets in other, harder sounds, because it might be something that might be important that you need to hear. And I thought that was very interesting. And it's kind of hard to explain what I'm hearing. You have to put a pair on for yourself to really understand what I'm saying, but I thought that was very interesting. And so I did think, though, the noise cancellation was definitely improved. The other thing that I noticed is definitely improved is sound quality. And where I'm noticing that is on the low end and also the mid range. Definitely response in there. You're getting a little more bass response. I thought while the sound was good in the old AirPod Pros and even the old AirPods, I felt that, at times they could be just slightly tinny. And so I like the sound that you're getting from these better. The other thing that I think is really cool with these is, and I can try to do this here. Hold on, I got to wait for it to. Well, now it doesn't want to cooperate with my phone here. Hold on a second. Oh, there we go. Get rid of that. Come on. So when I go into there, when you turn it on, can you guys see that at all? I'm getting so much reflection here. And I've got to hold my AirPods open at the same time. So there is, it's hard to do this backwards. Right here, it's an ear fit test. And so they give you an extra set of, I don't know, what do you call those? The covers.
Rubber tips.
Yeah, the tips on them. So they give you an extra size. So now there's an extra small, medium, and large. And it comes with the mediums. And that's what I was using before, but I thought I'd do the air fit test. And so you put them in, and it'll actually start playing a little bit of music they have in there. And what it's looking for is leakage of sound from the headphones. So I just had the medium ones on, and it told me checks all through there and everything. And it was really good. So then I thought, well, I've always used the mediums. Let's try some bigger ones. And when I went to the bigger ones, it said, this is not as good of a fit. And so I went through all of them, and certainly the mediums got the best test on me. But I thought that was kind of cool that they've got that set up to do that now. So that's cool. There's also a spatial audio test, and I did it with my old ones, and it's part of, I guess this comes with iOS 16 is where it's actually with. And, it'll have you put the headphones on, and it'll have you move your head around a whole bunch of times and do stuff. And it's trying to sort of customize it to you. I don't know exactly how that magic works, but it's supposed to give you a more custom sound. So I don't know if that also is contributing to the better sound with these. So I would say pluses for sound quality, noise cancellation, battery life. It's a minor thing. I like the personalization on the case. So far it's a winner for me. And I feel like it was definitely worth the upgrade because it's something I use quite often.
That's cool.
Glenn, the case.
Which
the
AirPod did
case-
you say that was?
What? Hold on, I got three of you at one time.
Okay,
Terry,
I'll
go.
Which
I'll go first.
AirPod?
Hold on, John, let's start with Terry and then I'll go to John, okay?
Which AirPod did you say that was?
It's the AirPod Pro 2. It's the new AirPod Pros they just came out with.
Oh, thank you.
John, what were you going to say now?
Now, on the previous version of AirPods Pro, when they first came out, the only case available was one that plugged in via Lightning. And then later models, they had a wireless charging one, or you could actually buy that case if you wanted to go with wireless charging. Are the new ones, or is the case for the new ones all come with wireless charging?
Yeah, wireless, you can plug in, Lightning. And the other cool thing is you can use your phone charger and it'll stick to that and it'll charge that way as well.
That's
Phone
cool.
charger or Apple Watch charger?
What did I just say?
You said phone charger.
Watch. Sorry, I meant watch.
Okay.
I've been up since 4 a.m. So, I could be saying anything and not know what I'm saying. So at this point,
Well, you realize that you've created a problem for me now. Because when these came out, I read all the reviews and I thought, oh, I can do without. I've got the previous version. You're fine. Now that I hear you talk about them, I'm thinking, it might be time for my present model to be handed down to my darling daughter, who tends to get a lot of my stuff when I upgrade. So you're making them sound pretty darn tempting. And I got a hunch that my daughter's might have some AirPods Pro Generation 1 in her future.
well, I had mine for 3 years. So it's not like I just had them for, 2 months or something. And, because, I mean, it's not that it's, I don't know. It's not like they're, $50. They are, you're spending $250, but I know that you have liked your AirPod Pros, and I would tell you these are definitely an upgrade to those. So
That's
know.
very cool. John, you got perhaps a holiday present for you and your daughter.
Well, the other thing I was thinking was I haven't had these all that long. There still is a lot of battery life left with them. So it's not as though I'm handing her a piece of junk. She'd be able to get good use out of them for quite a while. If I decide to upgrade. I mean, I don't know if I want to or not, but it's just one more factor to balance.
That's cool.
What was the price to expect? How much?
$250.
250?
Yeah.
I read a thing today very briefly that said that they are reduced in price. I don't know by how much. For Amazon Prime's, they're starting their early Black Friday type of stuff. So
Yeah, that was
today,
where I was
don't- and
mentioning.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if the price was just for today, but they were reduced in price if you had Amazon Prime.
Yeah, they've reduced a bunch of Apple products right now. Like I was saying, the Series 8 watch is like $50 off. They've got a pretty good deal. I want to say it's like $400 off, maybe. No, that doesn't sound right. I was reading all these and they all ran together, but an iPad Pro 11-inch, they've got some MacBook Air deals as well. So yeah, you guys might, especially if you're a Prime member, you might want to check out Amazon right now for Apple products.
Apple TV 4K as well. There was one model that was marked down from 179 to, I want to say like a 119 or something. It was quite a substantial price drop.
That's one of the things they expect new to come out, is it? Apple TV.
Yes.
Okay, any other reviews out there? Any new products from anybody? Yes,
Yep.
Tammy?
I had been using this LAX Lightning USB cable, and I found it charges my iPhone, but when I plug it in my computer to download my pictures, for example, my phone wouldn't connect to my computer well, and I switched to Anchor, an Anchor USB Lightning cable, and that plugs in easily with the computer, and I can download the pictures. And I don't have any connection problems with the computer. So I left the LAX brand and I moved over to Anchor brand.
It's interesting how some cables work and sometimes they don't.
Anchor's a pretty good brand. I've had, pretty good luck with their products over the years.
Oh, and then this anchor cable, it came with, they even give you this, case to put your, cable in. Get out of here. This case. With the zippers. So the case is kind of a hard case. So I'm saving that maybe I may want to put something else in there or something. It's some case that could be useful for something. I haven't been keeping my cable in a case. Or
Well,
maybe
that's a nice touch because it protects both ends of the cable from being distorted or bent or smashed or have liquid spilled on them or something. So that's a good feature.
I like that because my case that I carry my computer, my bag and everything, I've got one compartment with all my cables, and no matter how many times you organize and wrap those things, you know, it's kind of like a keychain. You know, they always seem to get tangled somehow. So I that's a kind of nice, I agree with John. That's a nice touch there with the case.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, any other product out there for our new, anything from anybody?
Apple Watch Series 8.
Nice.
How do you like it?
Quite a lot because it came with a lower daily calorie setting for the fitness app than my previous one did. So whereas the previous model was bitching at me all the time because I wasn't meeting my exercise goal, this one is congratulating me because I've met it now like 23 days in a row.
Nothing like
did you-
lowering the bar, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Lowering the bar.
What model did you have before, John?
I had a Series 6.
Six,
And
okay.
it was fine. And I just decided to trade it because I was afraid that if I waited too much longer, the price would go down. Now they
Yeah.
gave me the full trade-in for it at the Apple store, which is $120.
Cool.
Now this model, by the way, this is GPS, not cellular. And I know that people have been reading in the reviews about the Apple Watch having crash protection, you know, in case you get in a bad accident. That is only if you get the cellular model. And that costs $100 extra.
Okay.
And then, of course, you have to have a cellular plan. So if
Did
you
you
were
read
counting
about-
on- if you were counting on buying a watch and automatically getting crash protection, you ain't getting it unless you get the cellular model and paying the extra money. Or
Makes sense.
I was going to say the other way to do it would be if you were going to get an iPhone 14, which I'm not going to do because I have a 13 Pro. That would get you the crash protection.
Okay. Did you read some watches we're setting off crash protection from people riding a roller coaster.
Yeah, I saw that.
I read that yesterday. It was like, oh.
Well, I guess it makes sense when your momentum totally shifts in a different
Yeah,
way.
for sure.
I could see where it's probably just as much G forces on your body. You're
Really.
just not running into anything abruptly.
Hey, Ron, I would like to ask Robert to turn off his video feed. I think I saw his still photograph. Could you do that, Robert? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Thank you. That demonstrates what happens to me occasionally when I turn off my video
Yeah,
feed.
Grant was asking me before the meeting started, why if you turn off your video feed, your name pops up instead of the video. But sometimes he gets that photograph that
Photograph.
pops up. I
Is
don't
it
have
something
that
set
ever
with
happen to me. So
preferences?
does anybody know why that does that?
What's the one?
The Zoom.
Somebody had mine ported in one time.
I
You
just
must have
wonder
put
if
the
it's in your
photograph into the
preferences
system
somehow.
somehow.
I'm sorry, I'm not staying up with the conversation. What's happening?
I just said that you must have put the photograph, Robert too, into Zoom somewhere, but I don't know where.
I'm looking through the settings right now to see if I can figure out like where that might be. Is it possible? Well, it wouldn't be a virtual background. I'm trying to think of where else I'm just looking in here. I don't see something, but my guess is somewhere you can put that, maybe it was in there or something.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know. I'll have to look into that. I'm gonna put a note on my things. Why photo on Zoom? and I'll see if I can find out any information.
Yeah, and I have a reason for asking. I'm attending a class and I would like to be able to put my photograph up instead of just when I go off to get a drink or something, to have that rather than just my name.
Yeah, because you said yours seems to do it randomly, right?
It did randomly do it, and it stopped doing it randomly even now. So I don't know why it's doing it.
Yeah.
Brand, have you downloaded the latest, whatever the latest update is for Zoom?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
It seems like one comes out about every other day. That's why.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, in fact, just.
Yeah, any
before-
of you, if you're using Zoom regularly, or even if just once a month with us, always check for an update because they seem to update every month at least.
Right.
And it's, gives you safety features and stuff.
I've
Okay,
had-
we're gonna.
I've had 3
updates.
updates since the last meeting.
Yeah, really? Yeah, I know you usually check before the meeting and it always has an update.
Yeah.
So if you haven't done that for a while, good to do it. We're gonna move on. The next, I thought, kind of a reiteration from last month. Steve's put together a little presentation on how to use Apple Cash to pay your dues. And we're hoping to encourage people to do that. So since we had a very small turnout last month, we thought if Steve wouldn't mind just representing that information another time. And it's also on our website. If you missed this or you'd like to do it, it's easy to do. So turn it over to Steve.
Okey doke, let me share my screen. There it is. There. Can you see that? Pay your
Yes.
GAMUG
Yeah.
dues?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
good. Yeah, okay, Ron talked earlier about how we're trying to trim expenses and get rid of the post office box. That will go a long way. Hopefully, we'll also be able to send out renewal notices by email, and you can return the PDFs digitally. We're looking into that too, and that will save GAMUG postage, and it'll save you postage too, because not only are the prices of post office boxes going up, but stamps are going up too. So you can count on that. So they asked me to repeat a presentation that I did last month, and I made a few modifications to my slides to try to make it a little easier to follow. And let's see, this is what I'm going to cover this evening. What you'll need from your bank, the device, your iPhone, iPad, or Apple Watch, security issues, and setting up your Apple Cash card, and finally, how to actually make a cash transfer to pay your GAMUG dues. Here's the first item. If you do not have a debit card from your bank or your credit union, go ahead and get one. Just call the customer service. I think just about every financial institution issues debit cards. You will only need this card for as long as it takes to add it to your phone's wallet. And after that, if you don't want it, then go ahead and destroy it. If you have no need for a debit card, other than using it on your iPhone or your watch or your iPad, then this is really all you need it for. Here's your device requirements. Your iPhone needs to be a 6 or a later. It has to have Touch ID or Face ID. If you have an iPad, it also needs to have Touch ID or Face ID. And from what I can tell, any Apple Watch will work for this. I do not have an Apple Watch, so I can't really speak to this, but I got that impression that any Apple Watch will do. Okay, setting up the security. You open settings and you open your iCloud, and then you tap on password and security. iCloud access is here underneath your name. And password and security is the second item down. Turn on two-factor authentication. This is important. It's a great security feature. And if you prefer to write checks, then you should be warned that this is a security measure that checks do not have. The first time you log into a new device, you'll need to provide two pieces of information, your password and the 6-digit verification code that will be sent to your trusted devices. Next, you generate the cash card. You open the wallet app on your phone and you tap on the cash card. And that's what it looks like, the little Apple logo and the word cash. Every wallet app has that in it. You tap on that and it will ask you some information and you verify that. Once your cash card is active, tap on the plus sign in the upper right corner and the app will walk you through the steps to pair that debit card with the wallet app. Now the app can use your phone's camera to read your debit card's account number, or you can add it manually if prefer. Once it reads it, the numbers show up and it'll ask you to confirm that it got the numbers correct. But once you've gone through that, your cash card now has access to your bank account. And don't worry about security because every piece of information about your account is encrypted. Even if someone were to steal your phone and manage to unlock it, they would not see your account number. They would only see little dots. By contrast, anybody who gets hold of one of your checks, they've got your bank's routing number and they've got your account number and they can just go to town with it.
Hey, Steve, I
Yes,
think it's
sir.
also important that this information that Apple's keeping is on your phone. It's not sent to Apple. It's in that secure chip on the phone or your device.
That's an excellent point. That is all contained in your phone and the company does not have access to it. Let's see, where are we? Okay, now we are up to how to make a cash transfer. And the first thing you do is you create a message to Alan, he's our treasurer, and you tap on the little Apple Pay logo, the little black oval. These are the plus and minus buttons for changing this amount. You can also tap show keypad if you want to type in numbers in a decimal point or whatever. After you've got the correct amount, you tap on pay down here in the lower right corner. Now, it does not pay it yet. That's kind of misleading. It just takes you to the next step where you're ready to pay. Now, this is something that's kind of important. Be sure to include your name, just in case Alan doesn't have your phone number in his contacts. If he doesn't know who you are, all he's going to see is your phone number, and he'll write back to you and say, okay, who sent this? So save him the trouble and just include a note and say it's your GAMUG dues and what your name is. And then you tap on the up arrow and the money is sent to Alan. And that's it. Your payment is complete. So at this point, Ron, why don't you pause the recording?
Yeah, give me a sec. Okay.
Hey, Steve, don't they?
Right. Yeah. Go back to my sharing. And what happened to my?
Okay, so now Alan has a $1 more in his cash account. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's mine.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if you can see my,
It's blurry, Alan.
Not focused.
I'm sorry.
It's because your background.
How about that?
Yep, there you go.
You sort of see it.
Oh,
Where is my,
Oh, well. I got it. And what I normally do is immediately transfer that to the bank and send a receipt to the officers and the person who sent it to me.
And when Alan sends me the receipt, I put it into our database so we know you're paid up.
And it can usually be done in 5 minutes.
there. Okay, this is what Alan and Ron were just talking about. After Alan receives your money, then he uses the same app, the cash card, to transfer the money to GAMUG's bank account. And then he sends Ron a message saying so-and-so paid his dues or her dues. And you're good to go. Ron updates your records.
I just send a screenshot from the transactions with the transaction ID number on it.
Okay. So if anybody is still reluctant to try this, if this is just still too new to you, contact me. Write to me at GAMUG List and say, can you talk me through it? And I will give you personal instructions on it. This is really a slick thing. It's fast. It is far more secure than writing a check, and it's easy. So, and after all, we're a computer club, so I think we should be embracing this technology and taking advantage.
Max, come here.
So
Well,
that's all I have.
you guys have heard about all the check stealing out in St. Charles. Go to the bank, to the churches and check their mailbox and pull out the checks.
Yes.
So checks aren't secure. Nobody checks the signature on the checks. You can put
No,
in
they've
any-
cleared out people's bank accounts from
Yep.
getting a check like that. They somehow are able to wash the information off of it and then use it for whatever they want.
Ellen, can I
Have a
get your phone
comment.
number again?
Say
You
that, Robert? What?
Can I get your phone number again?
We'll
Um,
send
it is-
it.
Have to stop the recording to do the phone number. again.
Okay.
Can you
I'll
put it
call
in
you
the
with it.
chat?
Well, I sent you a short note. I don't know if you got it yet.
You're quick on the trigger there, Ron.
It's easy. There's
I
just
have
a
a-
button.
I have a comment about iMessage. If you use iMessage, enabling the iMessage on your phone, and you're corresponding with someone, and if they leave the Apple ecosystem and move off to Android, there may be issues where when you send text to them, they won't get it because Apple will still think, may still think they're on iOS, and your iMessage program may send your message through Apple to be routed through Apple, when it really needs to be true SMS to make it to an Android phone. So there could be issues if you have a friend that goes off to the Android world.
It's when they change from iPhone to Android. And then I think it's not possible for them to text you either.
That's,
Well, you can always send SMS messages even with the Apple one. SMS is the non-iMessage.
You
form.
turn off iMessage if you want your messages.
I've heard that that's a
program.
problem. I think they probably don't have that all the time, but it happens. I've heard. My brother just sent me his dues.
okay.
I want to say that when I go to, when I went to pick it out, it said pay. It did not have the same symbol as what you'd show before. It said symbol.
Oh. Well, you did it a different way, David.
I
you
went to
took-
the contact and pressed play. I mean, pay. I don't, what did I miss?
Well, you didn't go to iMessage and do it from there. There-
Okay,
Apple just added this other way, which Steve could have mentioned, but you can just go to the Apple Card and say pay.
after, go to the contact. Yeah,
No, it's not the contact. You go to Apple. Well,
You can either do it from the wallet or through a message, a text message. The way I did it
I went,
original
I
way,
selected
which
his
is-
contact. I selected his contact. And it said pay. So that was, I guess, the third way.
yeah, Looks like
Okay.
it.
Whoa. Damn it. Get out of there. Yeah. Okay, our next thing is Glenn's goodies, and he's kind of expanded them tonight. He's gonna talk about iOS 16, and he says he has 16 tips about iOS 16. So I'm counting.
Okay, well, yeah, I originally in my just normal goodies was gonna put some of the few tips and things for iOS 16. And so I thought, well, as we talked about me kind of expanding and doing some of the stuff, I thought 16 seemed like the right number to do for iOS 16. So let me get this ready to go here.
Cool.
And
Oh, look at all the pumpkins.
yeah,
It's goodies.
I thought I would try a nice little theme here, for October. So had I do graphic design, and so I've got a lot of fonts. The number of fonts I have on my computer is mind-boggling, actually. And I'm like, I've got this font I haven't used for anything that I can remember in
Probably
recent.
won't.
So
Where do you get your fonts?
A pumpkin font.
it varies. A lot of times I will end up finding fonts as I might need them for something, but there are actually a number of font sites out there. So if you just, do a search for free fonts, and even if you're looking for a specific one, if you don't want to buy that one, there are other ones that are, free to use. And it depends, the licensing can be different. And there's, 5 or 6 pretty good font download sites where even if you can't find the exact one you're looking for, you can usually find one that would be similar to that. And so like whenever I'm doing a new design for somebody or something, and I'm going, I just don't quite have the right font, I'll be out there searching for them. So
Can you send a list of these sites into the GAMUG email list?
you know what I could do, unless you're like in a hurry for this, maybe I can do a little thing on fonts next month or something, some of these sites.
Oh, I'm not in a big hurry or anything like that. The only reason I suggested the email is I'm not sure if everybody wants to hear about fonts. So I didn't want to impose in that way, but yeah. And what's the name of the font there that you're using right now for the pumpkins?
I have no earthly idea without pulling up one of my, programs that has fonts on it. So let me go through this, and then while we're doing other stuff, I'll look for you. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just watch the email or something or whatever.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. So anyway, as I said, I picked out 16, and these are literally iOS 16 tricks and treats. So, if you notice a theme here.
That looks like it.
All right. So the first one, and honestly, this wasn't going to be one of the things that I did, was customizing the lock screen. But since everybody is so seemingly crazy about this, I thought I'd include it. I've been slightly underwhelmed by this so far, but I'm hoping there will be more options for customization, in the future. But it is a pretty radical departure from, traditional Apple thinking, allowing you to customize this stuff. So there's some customizing you can do, but there's only 3 areas they give you to do that. It's still a bit limited, but as time goes by, you're probably going to have more options to do this. And you can do this on every iPhone that's released from 2017 later, so iPhone 8 and beyond. And also the iPhone SE will allow you to, second and third generation, will allow you to do this. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is on your lock screen, just hold that down and you'll get this little thing that pops up, and you can tap the little plus symbol to add new. And then it gives you the options to select one of the different background styles. So you can go with weather, you can go with astronomy, you can do emoji, you can do photos. And so you can set your background with just a single photo, or you can do Apple's intelligent photo picking. And I don't know how they do this magic, but it's supposed to find the best shots in your library. If you just tag people in photos, it can show you just like your family or whatever. So I can't explain how they do it, but you can do that. So let's say if you want photos and you tap photos on the top, right up on the top there, it says add new wallpaper. If you hit photos, you will now be on this screen. And so you can either pick a photo from your library, or you can pick photo shuffle if you want. And it will just start automatically picking photos from all different categories and rotating through them. And if you want, you can actually exclude different categories of pictures on there. And so you can see here on this next little step, it's got people, pets, nature, and cities. So you can have it pick all of these things, or you can tell it to only pick, part of this, whatever you want. Also down there, you can see a little button, it's shuttle frequency, and you can tap that and you can tell it, how often you want it to change. And so I will warn people, while that is always kind of a fun option, when you're shuffling photos, you are going to eat a little bit more of your battery life doing that. So, just at your own risk, be aware you might drain battery more doing that. So if you decide instead of photos, you want to do the astronomy animation, you can do the Earth, the moon, or the solar system.
No.
Oh, really? You can, Ron.
No, I'm talking to this stupid cat.
I know. So anyway, you'll notice there on the Earth one, it's a little farther away. So you can pick a farther away one, or on the moon one, you can pick what they call a moon detail. You can do that for both the Earth and the moon. I right now have the far away Earth one on mine. And I kind of like when you swipe up on here and, well, can you guys see my phone in a little bit? Well, can you guys see me here?
Yeah.
Postage stamp size.
A little closer, we will.
Well, there's a little animation. I'll tell you what, I will do this afterward and I'll show you, but you get a little animation when you do the whole Earth or the whole moon with it. It's a cool little animation. But if you're close up on the detail one, it doesn't do that. You can also use emojis as your background. So if you're an emoji person, I am not, but that might be you. You can pick any of the emojis to, use on the background. And you can actually pick up to 6 emojis to use at one time. And then you can pick a pattern. So then you have 5 different options for the pattern or how the fill on the screen will be. And so you can do small, medium, or large. You can do rings or spiral with the emojis you picked. And then you can also choose the color. So there's a little menu button on the bottom right, and you can click that and you'll see a little background color thing come on. And so then you can choose what's color scheme, you'd like the emojis to be. So there's quite a bit of customization with emojis there. And you can also, if you want to get a little more plain, you can just set a background as a wallpaper or just a plain color. Again, if you tap the menu button in the bottom right, it's got the 3 little dots there, and you just tap background to pick a background color. You can also use Apple's featured backgrounds. They also have some classic backgrounds like the clownfish there have made a return. Or you can just pick your own color. And again, you can see, you can pretty much make just about any color you would like on there. So those are all the backgrounds you can do on the lock screen. And by the way, the lock screen part of this is by far the biggest one of these because there's a lot of little things going on in here. So, all right. So the next part of this, once you set your background, you can change the lock screens, fonts, widgets, and colors. So again, you're going to tap and hold on the lock screen to enter customize mode. And you will see there's a customize button at the bottom of the screen. And you just click that. And now what you notice is you will have 3 fields. So you can do all 3 fields that are on there. So the first one that I would, recommend with is the time. And so it allows you to pick the font you want and the color you want. And really, once you get the background, then you can kind of figure out what color works best. And so I've spent a lot of time just playing with the color on there. The next thing you can do is you can change that little top row above the time. And so you can pick widgets that'll appear there, and it's just going to appear on a single line. And if you don't want a widget there, just hit the calendar widget on the top there, and it'll just show you the date. So you can see there's the date, and then there's a widget showing you the temperature there. Then the bottom one is a little more customizable for widgets. It'll allow you to put in up to 3 widgets. And so when you press on that, it'll pop up an add widget screen. Now, if you already have that filled, just hit the minus button, and that'll get rid of any of the widgets there. And Apple has a number of preset widgets, but there are also some third-party widgets that are starting to be released. And I envision that there'll be more of those coming in the future. One thing I will warn you, on some of these, you can choose what size you want the widget. How many widgets you can get in there is based on what size you pick. So if you'll notice, when you look at this picture I have here, the 2 widgets that are on the one in the middle and one on the right, those are the small sizes. And the one on the left is the medium size. If you choose, as you get into the bigger ones, it'll drop you down to 2 widgets rather than 3. So you just have to kind of play with that and see what works for you. The other thing you can do on there is you can set focus modes. Now you can have multiple lock screens. And I've seen people talking about how they'll do a lock screen for work and they'll put, a focus mode for work, or they'll do a lock screen for home and have that, and then they just change them when they're at work or not. It's not something I can see myself ever doing, but if you want to do that, you can, and you can make each lock screen different with backgrounds and widgets and that kind of thing. Okay, and you can see their focus modes are it's the same thing that they've had on the phone before, and it's their preset focus modes. And then you can kind of customize the focus modes as you want. All right, before I go on, any questions about lock screen? I went through that kind of fast just because I want to get to the rest of the stuff. I don't want to take all night on just that.
Keep going.
All right. All right, our next thing that everybody is really excited about, you can actually get the battery percentage number back on your iPhone screen. For some reason, Apple got rid of that in 2017, and now you can get this back. So if you go into your settings and you go to battery, scroll down to battery, click battery, and you will see a little thing for battery percentage, and just turn that on, and there you go. And if you notice at the very top there is a little number inside of the battery. The only complaint that I know that people have is that number is very small. So some people are like, hey, I can't see the thing, but people really like having that little number there rather than just the battery icon. So you can do that. All right, one really cool thing that I found in photos, and I will admit I've only played with it, I haven't actually spent time going through it, is they have a really cool feature that will detect duplicate photos, and that should say photos, not FOTS, photos and duplicate videos. So this can kind of help you declutter your library. Now, the feature should be on, so you don't have to enable it in your iPhone. So the first thing you do is you're going to open Photos and you're going to go to Albums. So you see on the very bottom there, Albums is blue. and you gotta select albums, and then you scroll down until you see that thing that says duplicates. And if you click on duplicates, you will then get to this screen. And now it's going to show you each of the duplicates that it detects. And it'll give you the chance to merge these into one photo. And therefore you're going to save space because it's going to eliminate the extra photo. And so you just click that little merge button. Now, one warning I have for you is be careful before you do this. You might want to double check your photos for the differences first. And if you notice my two photos there, I've got my son on my lap and we've got his birthday cake. I don't know how well you can see this because it's a little small on my screen. But those two photos aren't exactly identical. And I actually did some work because at first you see where the little orange box is on his picture, there was a glare from the lights that were like kind of on by his chest there a little bit. And so I went in and I just edited and I eliminated that glare and saved it. Well, now I've got two photos that the Photos app thinks are the same, but they're not. One is my edited one and one is the original. So I would tell you that before you just, click merge, you might want to just look at them just to make sure they really aren't the same, that in case you've edited something or you just happen to have two photos that are very similar there. But I think this is a really kind of neat feature because I don't know about you guys, but I've got a lot of photos taking up a lot of space on my phone. So if I can kind of declutter a little bit, that would be great. All right. Our next thing is photo password protects hidden and deleted photos. So in previous versions of iOS, when you hit a photo, it was just removed from the main camera roll and it was just put into a separate location, but they weren't actually password protected. And so there's been a bunch of third-party apps that would do this for people, but now it's actually a part of the Photos app itself. So again, if you go into Photos to the albums and you scroll down, you will see these two things under Utilities. It's right under where duplicates is, and they're say hidden and recently deleted. And so these are protected by default, but you can turn the protection off if you want, and you open them with Face or Touch ID. So once that's open, then you can see what's protected there. By the way, if you want to turn this feature off, just go to Settings, Photos, scroll down, and scroll down to Use Face ID, and you can also turn off Show Hidden Albums. Kind of cool. I mean, I don't know what I might need to password protect, but sometimes I'll take a picture of maybe a sensitive document or something that I need to have. I don't know. And so therefore you can protect that. The next thing that I've got here is the haptic touch keyboard. I love this. It's just a cool little thing, but if you like to actually feel the keyboard, that haptic feedback on your keyboard when you touch the keys, you can turn that on and you will feel a click, or I don't know how you want to describe it, but you'll feel that sensation each time you type on the keyboard. I personally like it, but I will tell you the downside is this can drain your battery faster. So if you go into Settings and then you go to Sound and Haptics and you click on that, it will then take you down to keyboard feedback if you scroll down and just press where it says haptic there. And then you can change haptic to the on position. By the way, it's the same place you can turn on the sound so you get a click as well as the feeling. I know it drains my battery slightly faster, but I don't know. I just like that feel of it. So if you like that, go for it. All right, our next one. Am I going too fast, by the way?
Nope.
Okay. Next one is you can find and view your Wi-Fi password. And I'm sure that at some point, everybody is probably going, what the heck is the password for this Wi-Fi? And there was no way to look at that on your phone. So now you can. So follow the following steps here. So first, go to settings and go to Wi-Fi. And you just click on that. And there you'll notice there is a little eye with a circle around it next to the network. And you just tap on that. And then when prompted, you're going to use your Face ID to authenticate. I presume Touch ID would work for that as well. And once you're authenticated, the Wi-Fi network password will be viewable in plain text and instead of the little dots there. Also, a pop-up box is going to appear above the password, and that'll allow you to copy it. So if you need to copy and paste that password into something else, then you can do that.
Cool.
So I can see where that can come in real handy at times.
Yeah.
If you want to share your password with someone that doesn't have an iPhone.
Yeah. All right. Now, another fun thing is you can add emojis to your text now with dictation. By the way, this is only on the iPhones with the A12 chip or later. So it starts with the XS and XR models and later from that. So first thing you got to do is you got to open any app that allows you to write text. So let's say, messages, for instance. So you create a new message and then press on the dictation icon there in the bottom right, the little microphone. And after you press it, literally say cat emoji or smiley face emoji, and they will appear. And, you just press that dictation button and you're done. So I've actually used that. I've tested it out with my wife and it worked. And she was like, why are you sending me emojis that make no sense? I'm just like, just testing this feature out. So, if you're sending a text and you want to, you're dictating the text and you're driving along in your car and you want to do that by voice or whatever, you can now add emojis in there. All right, live captions. So this is kind of cool. You can now have iOS 16 generate subtitles for any audio that's playing in any video app on your iPhone. And this is cool for a couple reasons. Maybe, you just need that to help you because you're, having a hard time hearing what they're saying. Maybe somebody's hard of hearing, or, I don't know, like you guys, sometimes I'm just in a time and place where I can't have the volume on, but I'm trying to see this video. And so now I can watch the captions on my phone. And so
cool.
This works on any iPhone from 2017 or later. So 11 and later, also the SE second and third generations. So you just go to settings and to accessibility to turn this on. Go to settings, accessibility. And then in accessibility, go down to live captions. And when you click on live captions, it takes you into this screen and you can toggle that on. As a whole, you can just hit it on the top there where it says system. If you do that, that will be for all apps, or if you just want to use it in, like FaceTime or things like that, there's a little more manual ability there rather than everything. Then
What
the
does
other
RTT mean, Glenn?
It's gosh darn it, I knew what this was and now I forgot. I'm
Well,
sorry, I'm
I don't need to
blanking.
know, so it's okay.
Sorry, I knew what it was and now I've completely blanked on it. The last thing, you can also control the appearance so it shows up better on your phone. So if you hit appearance there, you can change the text size to make it bigger or smaller. You can change the text color or the background color on these just to help you see it better.
Cool.
I thought I would share just a little video of this real quickly because I can't show this to you real well. So I'm going to just show this guy having a little conversation here.
Go. Now we have live captions. Let's go to our accessibility. And in accessibility, we go to live captions, beta. And this works with everything. As soon as you turn it on, it puts a little icon here. And when you tap on it, it opens up. And if you're watching a YouTube video or whatever the phone is playing, it gives you live captioning and it works with FaceTime. Hello, how's it going? I'm doing very well. I'm filming right now and we are testing out the live caption feature. So if you can tell us some stuff, we will. Let's talk about how I finished Cyberpunk to 100% and got the platinum trophy.
All right, so I think that's enough for you guys to see how it works. So you can see there, and you can change that text size, the text color, or the background there of it. And I don't know about you guys, but I think this is a pretty cool feature in here.
Yeah.
Go. Now we.
All right. Now, one of the most popular ones that no doubt you guys have seen is remove background from images. And so, you know, basically the iPhone 10 and the XR and iPhone SE second and third generation and later, you can handle this. And I got to tell you, I don't know how many of you have tried this out, but it just works phenomenally. I was going to do a little demo for you, but I thought I'd let this person demo it. It makes it a lot easier to see.
In iOS 16, you could click on a photo and then remove the person or the subject from the background just like this and save it or send it to anyone. Let me show you your options. So go ahead and select a picture of a person or a pet or an object and just tap not in the area outside of their face, but right on their face or the center of the object. And then they basically get off the background. Now you could close the Photos app with the other finger here. And let's open up Messages, for example. And now inside of Messages, I could just drop it. You see that plus sign? I could just drop it like this. And it's going to send it as a message here if I press send. And it won't have a background. Right now, you can't replace the background, though. It's just going to be this kind of transparent background here. And the other useful option here is you could press and hold and let go. And then you could copy and paste it to another application, for example, or you could just share it directly from here. If you press share, you could airdrop it, the version without a background, or you could go ahead and save the image. So let me save it this time. And this is what that saved image looks like on your iPhone here. So you could send this from here or just leave it in your Photos library. I hope you found this useful and I'll see you next time.
By the way, if you would like the step-by-steps, you can see down here, I put a link where you can get step-by-steps to do that. I got to tell you, again, I don't exactly know how all the magic works on that, but if any of you have used it, it works phenomenally. I have never had like a bad copy of that. And I can tell you, I've spent a lot of time over the years in Photoshop trying to crop something out of a picture or get rid of a background.
Yeah.
And it's one big giant pain in the butt. And this is amazing. So again, it's another really cool feature of iOS 16.
In iOS 16.
All right. Anybody here annoyed by CAPTCHAs when you go to a website? I know it drives me crazy when I have to verify that I'm really a human. So on iOS 16, you can set it up in your system so it'll automatically bypass these. And you can use Safari and other browsers, and also in some third-party apps. So when you enable the feature, it's going to verify your user ID and basically check if you're real, and it'll send a private access token to that app or website. And so now you're not going to have to do the stupid little puzzles or pictures or whatever else it is that's highly annoying. So to do this, you're going to go to settings and you're going to go to your profile in there. And then once you get into your profile, go into passwords and security. And then scroll down to the bottom where it says automatic verification, and you turn that on. And once you've got this turned on, once you got that turned on, you're good to go. I've had that turned on now for a couple of weeks, and I've had no problems not being able to get into a website. So I think one time I got some little weird message about it, but then it came on and off and right away, and that was the only odd thing I've encountered. So seems to work pretty good. All right, my next tip is about keeping track of medications in Apple Health. So they have added this in, and I've been playing around with this. I take a few medications, I take a bunch of little handful of supplements, and you can keep track of this stuff. Now I'll say this. I have read in places that you can track your supplements. I have not been able to get that to work, only medications. So play with it, see if you can get the supplements to work. I've yet to be unable to do that. So basically you got to go into your health app and you're going to tap browse on the bottom of the screen here. So once you go, so in the health app, go to the bottom right corner into browse, and then you're going to see there where it says medications, and you're going to click on medications, and it'll take you to this little screen to set up medications. And then you just click on the add a medication. And once you're there, you can search by name, or you can use the camera icon and scan the label of your medication. And I have used both, and they both will work. The camera app, I just center it right on the label, just the words on the label, and it'll find it. It does a real good job of that. Then the next screen it takes you to is, it's going to help you to track this so that, if you need help being, reminded of when to take your stuff, it'll actually alert you. You can put in there when, how often you take it and when you're going to take it. Now, you don't have to have it alert you, but you can. If you're trying to remember that, hey, I got to take this stupid pill at this time, the health app will remind you if you set it in there. Then it customizes so that it can actually help you remember what the medication looks like. So it'll have you choose the shape of the medicine and the color. If you've got a bunch of little pills in your hand, or maybe you keep them in a little pill minder, this could kind of help you out, I guess, remember, which one is which. And so then you get to a summary page, and you can enter, any additional details you need there, or notes, and then if you want to, and it's showing you like there when you take it and all that stuff. Then the other thing I like is they have a medical interactions page, and I think this is really nice. And so you can have it check different factors between medicines, and you can turn on which of these you want, alcohol, cannabis, or tobacco. And so it'll include those as well. And it'll, show you if you've got any interactions going on with the medications that you need to know about, that you might need to be careful with. All right, so that's medications. The next thing is with Apple Maps, you can now add multiple stops, which I love, because there's been a few times where I needed to go to a couple places, and I used my map to get one place, and then I was there, and then I used maps to get to the next place. Well, now you can put them all in one route so that you don't have to do separate ones. Mm-hmm. So basically, you're going to go into Apple Maps and use your search bar to search for a destination. So I just put in Apple Store. And so then I found an Apple Store nearby. I selected it. And of course, it gave me my map options just like normal. Then you'll notice under directions there, it will give you the option to add stop. And so if you click on add stop, you can decide what you want. So then I just put in Starbucks, and I found a Starbucks that I wanted. And so now, since Starbucks was the second one, you can see it routes me to the Apple Store and then to Starbucks. Don't know why that box did not leave. So you'll now see it's created that destination with both, the route with both destinations, but you can change that. So if you want to change the order, you're just, and I tried to show you this without doing a video, where I had it pressed and I was moving one. So you can sort of tell that if you look in the orange box, I was literally just dragging Starbucks up above Apple Store. And now not only did it change the order, but you notice on the map, it changed the route.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
so it can change your routing and you can, do that. So I think this is super, super handy personally. So you don't have to just keep doing separate things if you've got multiple stops. All right, now live text in iOS has been expanded. You can also use it in videos. And so here are some things you can do. And once again, it was much easier for me to show you a short little video here showing this in action.
Live text, which was a new feature added back in iOS 15, has received some pretty useful improvements in iOS 16. And so in this video, we're going to briefly go over what's new with live text in iOS 16. If you need a refresher, live text is designed to let you highlight and select written or typed text from photos, interacting with it as you would text in any other place inside of the operating system. It's actually pretty crazy that you can kind of write down a phone number in the Notes app or an email, or if that's inside of a photo, you can long press on either one and make a call or compose a new email. One of the major new additions with live text is the ability to do that within a video. Rather than just being able to select text inside of photos, you can actually pause any video and interact with the text like you would inside of an image. So this means that text in any pause video frame can be copied, pasted, translated, plus it works with lookup. Live text works across the operating system in Photos, Camera, Safari, and even other applications. So again, if you want to copy text, just pause the frame of the video if you want, and then touch and hold on a word. You can grab the two little blue markers to narrow or widen your selection, and then you can press and hold to get options like translate and copy. Text that is in a photo or video also supports quick actions, something that Apple added in iOS 15. So now in iOS 16, there are new quick actions that let you track flights, track packages, translate languages, and even convert currencies right from a photo or video. If you have a photo with a sign in a foreign language, for example, you might see the Translate quick action available. Live text can also be found inside of the Translate app, as there's a new camera button that opens the device's camera so that you can get live translations in real time for different languages. And speaking of different languages, there's now 3 new languages, including Japanese, Korean, and Ukrainian. And lastly, in iOS 16, live text will work with Spotlight search. So for example, if you are looking for text in a photo or video frame, you can actually just search for that keyword and you'll see it pop up inside of Spotlight search, which is actually something that I did last week without even really realizing it. I was looking for a picture of my vaccine card that I took, and I just typed in the keywords and it actually showed me the picture because it read the text inside of the picture and then was smart enough to bring it up in Spotlight search, which is a fantastic feature that worked perfectly when I needed it to. And of course, I would love to know your thoughts on live text and how you're.
I thought that last feature was pretty darn cool that, if you've got a picture or a video, something that it can actually find it in there. So,
Like it indexes every videos you ever put out. That's
I haven't
remarkable.
tried the feature, but that's, he said it came up in there. So I
Remarkable.
don't know how well that works. Like I said, I haven't tried that, but I've used live text quite a lot. I don't know if the rest of you are using it or not, but I find myself all the time getting information off of photos that, I want to turn into text. All right. Locking notes. So now you can lock specific notes behind Face or Touch ID. And they had this in the past, but in the past you could lock notes and you had to have a custom password for the note. The problem is people seem to easily forget custom passwords because you had different passwords for different notes, and that could kind of get a little confusing. And so they've simplified this in iOS 16. And so you can access those lock notes and other devices throughout iCloud, but you got to have iPad OS 16, which isn't released yet, or Mac OS 13. So on your phone or iPad, when you're in, iOS or in iPad OS 16, open the Notes app and then go to the note you want to lock and tap on the little icon, the triple dots at the top, and then select lock there. And you can see I've got that circled. And what's going to happen is on the next screen, they're going to give you this little thing and it's going to give you these great benefits of all this stuff. And then you can tap, use iPhone passcode to proceed. And then next up, you're going to have to authenticate using Face or Touch ID. And then when the authentication's done, you're going to get a little pop-up message that's going to say updated to device passcode. And then you type OK to do that. And so that's how you can lock notes. And they've just simplified this whole thing. By the way, that's how you view the notes. It's just when you go to the note, it's locked, click view notes, and then you would either use Face or Touch ID to authenticate and get into your note. All right, last couple things here. I believe this is number 15, because people are really all about this, text and mail stuff. And I find, I don't know, I'm not sure. I mean, the idea of unsending a text message or an email sounds great. But the problem is once you've sent the text message, people are aware that you've sent the text message. So you've got 2 minutes to unsend any text message, and you've got 15 minutes to edit it. So when you type something by mistake, you've got 15 minutes that you can edit that, and they will get the edited text. So, open iMessage, just press and hold the message that you want to unsend, and you'll get a little quick action menu will appear there, as you can see, and you just tap undo send. And again, you've got 2 minutes to do it. Now, when you try to unsend in iMessages, they're still going to be able to see them, especially if it's someone running iOS 15. All this is still, in my opinion, sort of in the works because they say, you got to have iOS 16 to do it, but supposedly this kind of works in 15. So I would say test it out for yourself. But the person you're texting sort of may be able to see that, hey, they sent something to me and now they're unsending it. So, but they won't know what the message was if they haven't looked at it yet.
What if you had sent something that was converted to an SMS message? You're no undoing those.
No, I don't believe so. It's just, see, originally I had heard both parties have to have iOS 16, but then
Yeah.
I've seen iOS 15 can do that. But so now I'm not sure where the truth really lies. So I would just assume if somebody's running an older system, you're not going to be able to do it. Or if they're not using an iPhone, you're not going to be able to do it.
Right.
You can also edit here, open iMessage, and then the action menu appears, tap edit, which is the third one down. And you can edit a single message up to 5 different times. I got to tell you, if you got to edit your message 5 different times, maybe you should find a different mode of communication. And you've got 15 minutes to do that. I like their edit going from dinner is in 25 minutes to dinner is the dog there. So hopefully nobody is offended. Okay, so we can also do this in emails. So when you go to the new email icon in the right-hand corner of your screen, you just enter your email recipient, fill it out, compose it, and you're going to hold on to the send message icon, the little blue icon. And if you actually hold while you press, you're going to get this little contextual menu. And you've got 4 choices there. Send now, and you can see it gives you a couple different times. Or if you want to send later, it'll then take you to the little scroll wheels where you can actually give more of a specific time. And then you hit done, and it's going to send at that time with one caveat. Your device has to have some internet ability, whether it's through cellular data or Wi-Fi, to send that at the time. So if you're going to schedule it for that time, make sure your phone's going to be able to do it at that time.
Does it have to be awake? I guess devices.
I don't think so. As far as I know, I've never heard that it had to be, but I haven't tried this. So, and then you can unsend an email as well. So if you've just sent the email, tap the undo send option, which is the green box at the bottom there. And if you don't see the option, your 10-second time window for unsending the email is elapsed. I don't know how many people are going to realize in 10 seconds they need to unsend something. Because I don't know about you guys, but usually it'll dawn on me in about 2 minutes later or something that, oh, I meant to put that in the email or something like that. So if you do it in within the time, you go back and you're using the little blue arrow to edit. And when you hold on that, you hold on that, and it's going to unsend it. Okay. All right. So those are my 16 tips and tricks. And I would tell you, if you want to know more about iPhone or either the iPhone or iOS 16, Apple has put out a free user guide in Apple Books. So if you open your Apple Books app, you can download this for free. And I have not done this. I have not looked at this. And frankly, I'm not one to hardly ever use user guides. But if it's something you like, you can download it. And it's a free download into Apple Books. And finally, to wrap this up, I thought this was kind of humorous. And I just thought I would share this, even though it's not iOS 16. But this woman's holding her Apple Watch up, and it's getting a loud environment alert. And she says things that are 90 decibels, lawnmowers, blenders, power tools. Hugo, when he wakes up from a nap and suddenly realizes he's so hungry. I don't know about any of you guys, but I've actually had twice since I updated my watch, I've had 2 loud environment warnings. And I had never gotten one before. So I don't know if you guys are suddenly getting these or not. One of them, it was funny. I was at a cross-country meet and there was a coach standing right next to me and he was yelling to one of his runners. And boom, my watch gave me the alert that it was a loud environment. And I thought that was funny because for some reason it did it with him, but it didn't do it with other people yelling. So I don't know, something about his voice did it. The next time it did that, it made much more sense to me because about a week and a half ago, we had our driveway redone and there was quite a bit of heavy machinery and equipment out there on my driveway. And so when I was outside checking on their progress, it was giving me that alert. So has anybody else noticed lately loud environment alerts on their watches?
I got one of those when I was mowing the lawn.
Okay. I think it's more sensitive or something in the new Watch OS. Because again, I had never gotten that. Now I've gotten a couple of them lately. So anyway, there you go, guys. I hope I didn't bore you all to death with my tricks and treats for iOS 16 and 16 of them. So hopefully you guys got some ideas out of that and maybe found out some new things about iOS 16 that you didn't know.
And don't forget, Glenn will send me that PDF and
yes,
it'll get posted on the website. So you go back and look any specific one of those.
Look like a very
Glenn?
good job, Glenn.
Do you
Thank you.
recommend that everybody get 16 now, or wait, mine doesn't,
I do.
mine says it's optional.
I recommend it, but then again, I'm always an early adopter. I usually, download these new systems as soon as they come out. And I
Now,
can
I saw
only
it about
remember,
2
I
weeks
can only
ago.
remember once there ever being like an issue. One of the systems, I don't remember which one, was tending to brick some phones, but I've never had any issues.
Okay,
So I would say most of the time it's pretty normal that I'm doing it either on the day it's released or the day after. And I love the features in iOS 16, so I see no reason.
I had an automatic updates and it hadn't even updated the 15.7. So I updated 15.7 and waited for the 16.
There is something though important. If you have not updated, when you go to update, don't just hit update and assume it's going to give you 16, because it will, if you're still on 15, it's going to give you the option that you can either go to the latest iOS 15 update or go to iOS 16 and they'll just be listed and you got to pick which one you want to do.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, because I know people have said, oh, I went to update my phone and it didn't update to iOS 16. It updated me to, I think it's 15.7 is the latest one.
Yeah.
And it's because that is the default if you don't tell it you want to do iOS 16.
Yeah, you gotta scroll down a little bit farther.
Yeah.
to see the 16.
Hey, Glenn,
It's
a quick
automatic
way,
to it.
Glenn, a quick way to check your battery level is just drag the battery icon down into the screen and it shows you right away. So you
Yeah.
don't have to make any settings.
Yeah, just it's been one of the big things that people have been lamenting now for 5 years, that they hated that the little number went away and it was just the
Right.
icon. So like people are like, yeah, it's brought it back, and people are like crazy about this. So it's the little
How do
thing.
Yeah,
I've got a-
I like that change.
I've got a question. How do you paste that from the image that you've selected by holding on the image, you know?
Okay, so what's going to happen is when you hold on the image,
Right,
you're going to see like around the outline, you'll see a little white flash around it real quick, and that's
Right.
going to tell you that you have it. And if you just hold that, a little menu is going to come up above and it'll say copy or share.
right.
And
I
if you
did that.
copy that, boom, it's copied. And now if you go into like messages or notes or wherever, and you just tap like you normally would, a little paste option will come up and you just hit paste.
That's what I'm not getting when I'm trying to do it into mail.
Well, if you're having trouble with it, then I would just use the option, the share or send, I forget which one it says, option, and then it'll give you the options if you want to mail it or text it or whatever.
Okay,
You can just do it directly from there and it'll put it in there for you.
okay. And one complex figure that I touched on to clip it out, you know, like that, it animated it and it kept running like an animation of the whole image. Have you seen that happen?
My guess is, I haven't, but my guess is it's probably, you might have had, do you have, gosh, what's it called? Live photos, I think it's just called.
Live photos.
And so it might just be seeing that whole, you have that little animation for a second or two.
Mm-hmm.
That's maybe what it's seeing, Grant.
Okay,
And
I'll
my
try it
guess is when you paste it or share it, it's going to share it in the format that you chose, where you chose in that sequence is my guess, but I would tell you to play around with it.
okay. This is not the pre and post frames from
Okay.
iPhoto.
It's just a photo. It's not a video though.
No, it's just a photo, just a straight photo that I took of a sculpture. And when I pressed on it, it isolated the sculpture, but then it animated, it kept running through the shape of the sculpture.
Okay. I see that. I'm playing here with something, but it's got my live photo, but then if I did it long enough, and I don't know if you can see that it's got me, but it's got like the little white going around me, and eventually the
Right.
little textual menu came up above it.
Yeah,
So if you hold it long enough, it should do that.
I'll see if
Is that working for you, Grant?
Here. Now I got copy and or share.
Yeah, that's
I don't
what's
know.
going to happen. And now you can copy it to, paste it somewhere else, or you can share it directly from there.
Right. I don't think you can see it on the screen there, but it's moving. The sculpture is moving.
Yeah, I can see the white line going around
Yeah.
it now. Yeah. So you're good to go there. That'll work for you.
Okay, Glenn, thanks a lot. That was very
Sure.
detailed.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Did you count them, Ron?
Well, the catastrophes that happened in between kind of threw off my count. Yeah.
Lost your concentration, eh?
Yes.
Alan, I counted that it was 16, but some of those have a number of slides because there's a number
Yeah.
of steps in some of them. So it
Oh,
was
I think you did a
16
great
different
job, Glenn.
subjects, but
No, that was a good.
well, and one of the nice
for
things,
people too.
one of the nice things about doing that was I was aware of a lot of this, but I learned a few things about iOS 16 along the way in putting this together. So it certainly helped my knowledge of the system.
Well, yeah, because if you don't look at something like what you presented, you'd never find out how to do any of those things. They just won't pop out on the screen for you.
No, and you know what? There's a lot more things out there. We always are finding stuff in systems like,
yeah.
I didn't know you could do that. And I think that it's like anything in life. If you're not using something regularly, you forget about it.
Well,
You know,
think how
so-
long the Apple presentations would be if they tried to tell us everything.
Yes, this is true.
Hey, Alan, why don't you move your camera up a little bit? We can't even see the half of your head.
Yeah,
Oh.
your face is chopped off.
Yeah,
There you go.
thank you.
Grant, would you mind if I shared that email real quick that you sent me with them?
Oh, go ahead.
I'll show you, Grant. He just isolated, and I'll show you what it looks like. And you can see it. That's what it just pulled out there. And that was what it pulled out of his picture that he just sent me. And so it's just that sculpture.
Not even the areas in between the,
But on my picture, it's animating. It is being lit sequentially throughout that whole complex structure.
Oh, can you share that?
I'm trying to send it right now.
No, share it with the Zoom.
I just shared on screen.
From my phone.
Oh, you have to be connected. So
Oh, you're not connected to it?
no. Let's move on. We can check those things out later. I've got,
We can all try it.
yeah. I've got a couple more things and it's going to be fast because we have about 10 minutes. Let me see what I've got here. Oh, let me find, hold on a second. Share. Can you see this
Yeah.
PDF?
Yes.
One of the things I told the officers was I looked for something that showed what do they expect might be coming out of Apple this month. Right at the moment, we don't know whether there'll be a specific keynote presentation, but a lot of people are saying that they think it's just going to be Apple announcements through, mailings or whatever. So this is what is expected as possible things coming out by the end of this month. So one thing would be new iPads. They expected there to be an iPad 10.2, which came out last September. And so there will be a new one. They expect likely be a new one, a 2022 model this month. It said it'll be the last to ditch the range's outdated design, which features home button and thicker bezels to bring the cheapest iPad in line with Apple's other slates. 5G support might also be added, but notice all this is speculation. That's what they think might happen. And it could also have a faster processor. Let's see. Here's the one about a new Apple TV 4K. I actually read that there might be an Apple TV 8K coming out, but exactly when, who knows? Anyway, that was last updated in April of 2021. So they're expecting that that's likely to happen, to be one of the things that'll be updated. Let's see. No, there's a thing about the new Apple TV could support 8K video, which case it's going to have to rebrand the device to match. So it'd be Apple TV 8K, I suppose, in any case. They say also it might come with a faster processor and more memory. But again, all this is speculation at the moment. New Macs and MacBook Pros. One interesting thing I read is Apple is renaming, instead of calling these notebooks, they're changing the word to laptops. And that's throughout Apple, all of Apple's advertising. So you won't see the word notebook anymore. You'll see the word laptop, which is kind of industry standard in any case. There might be a new Mac Mini 2022. It was 2 years ago that the current one came out, ushered in the M1 age. So this might be based on the M2 chip. And they think it'll be the same design, however. MacBook Pro 14-inch and 16-inch. Again, upgraded to the M2 chip as the 13-inch was this year. Other changes, let's see, a new HomePod. You all remember HomePods, right? Was officially discontinued in 2021, but the speaker market, smart speaker market, continued to do brisk business. So there are rumors that Apple is going to launch a HomePod 2. Whether that happens exactly, we'll have to wait and see. They still have the HomePod minis, of course. Let's see. So that's what they expect to show up this month, before the month is out. Again, whether it's an actual presentation by Apple, like the one in September, or whether it's just announcements coming through various media events and such. So let me get rid of that. Can you still see this one? Hidden
Yes.
iOS feature?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I'm not going to go through it. Lots of details here, but it's about how to unlock your phone, and also talks about some of the features in iOS 16 that Glenn turned. But it's about how to view markup on pictures and such. And I thought it was interesting, just as I read through this. I'll just leave it and I'll post it on our website for you to check out if you're interested. Let's see what else there. Here's the notebooks become laptops. So they're going to rebrand everything. That's happening right now. Notice even on their website and such. And it's just that change from notebook to laptop. I thought this one was interesting. There's a backtrack ability on an Apple Watch to retrace your steps. It works on Apple Watch Ultra, the Apple Watch SE, and Apple Watch Series 6, and later if you're running the Watch OS 9. So it should be less easy to get lost because you can start a backtrack and it uses the GPS and takes you back through where you've been and a way to retrace your steps. I just thought that was an interesting feature.
I'm sure if you're lost, you can start looking up that feature to try to figure out how to use it. Right?
How to use it. And then the last one is, Glenn talked about the new AirPods. This is do's and don'ts for cleaning dirty AirPods Pro and charging case. So if you've had one you've been using a while, it might get grungy or who knows what, dusty. And it talks about how to clean them. So here's the don'ts. Don't run the AirPod Pro underwater. I would think most of us would realize that, but you never know, right? Don't use sharp or abrasive tools, materials, or cleaners. Don't get water or objects in the charging case or charging contacts. So what should you do? Well, cotton swabs, flosser picks, microfiber cloths, and blue tack, isopropyl alcohol, and Clorox wipes. And then it goes through the steps of what you should do. Wipe them down with a clean microfiber cloth, slightly dampen with fresh water if needed. It's okay to use a Clorox disinfecting wipe or isopropyl alcohol, similar on iPods and AirPods Pro. Let them totally dry before putting back in the charging case or in your ears. Remove some of the excess cotton from an end of a more precise cotton swab tool. Gently use a flosser pick to break up and remove tough to reach spots. And be sure not to poke at or through the grills, mics, or other important components. Blue tack is another great way to remove the gunk. So it goes through all those, and again, and then how to clean the case too. So anyway, I thought those might be useful. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron. I know
I'll
it's hard
post
to
those
look
on our
for,
website. Some of
it's
them
hard
might
to look
be
for things that haven't been covered by Glenn here, right?
Well, I was trying to limit to 16 and I was like, well, I had another 10 or 15 of them I could have fit. I'm like, well, which ones will pick? So I was trying to pick the ones that are generally the most popular or stuff that I think is kind of cool. But yeah, there's some other great features as well.
Well, for the future, Glenn, if you find other ones you find useful, hey, we're all ears,
Yeah, although I throw stuff in my goodies and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay,
I do
everybody.
hope- Just
It's almost
really
9
quick, Ron, I
o'clock.
do
Any
hope
last
everybody
comments?
will keep in mind, Ron, real quick. I do hope everybody will keep in mind that a lot of what we've seen tonight might just show up in a certain trivia contest that we have in December.
Oh,
You
who
can
might
make
do
it
that,
up.
John?
Annual events, huh?
Yeah, remember, John usually goes back to the archives of all our meetings for the past year and picks out tidbits from those. So who knows if you want to study up. hopefully I'll think about that in December. We do trivia. Well, thanks everybody for coming tonight. And
just
check out the
remember-
website for more details.
Just remember, the next meeting is also election night.
That's true. So we won't see Alan
I won't be there.
Or me.
or David.
Well, I'll try to be here, but seeing as I teach government class, and as my wife will tell you, I'm usually up, if not all night, at least till 2 or 3 in the morning. I'm kind of a junkie about returns, so I'll try to do your thing and pay attention on my TV at the same time.
You know what I hate though, Glenn, when they start doing returns on TV, they'll do a return, they'll say like, so-and-so has this percentage and this other guy, what's the percentage of total returns in, 0.5% or some ridiculous thing. So
Yeah,
they
they'll
don't
say
mean
this is-
anything until it gets to at least 50%.
I just don't like, frankly, early returns and polling because I don't like the way it influences people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be able to get that until polls are closed.
Yeah, all across the country.
Well,
Yeah.
Well.
yeah, that's right. It influences people out in California, even
Sure.
see what we've voted.
Well, my next 2 meetings, we've got election night in November, and then our meeting in December is on my son's birthday. So, no offense to you guys, but I
Oh,
think
he'd never miss you, Glenn.
as long as I give him a fun present to play with, then he won't care if I'm there or not.
That's right. Give him something good.
And these days, he usually wants something on his Minecraft game on his iPad that, he's very addicted to.
And give him a really new game and he'll just be busy with that all night. Yeah.
Yes. And you guys all appreciate this in closing. My wife just sent me a text because I'm in the basement and my son's bedroom is right above us. And my son wanted my wife to tell me, just so I knew that his exact words were, if I poop right now, it'll fall on your head. Hanging in bed right above me.
And you want to give that child a gift? Glenn, okay.
Yeah, with that, we leave.
Okay, everybody. Thanks again.
All
Check out our
right.
website for information.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Everybody.